Hello everyone, I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our main event for UFC Noche. In our main event, we have an absolute barn burner at featherweight as former title challenger Diego Lopes takes on rising contender John Lord Silva. Looking at their records before I even get into this, Diego Lopes is 26-7, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Silva is 16-2, 5-0 in his last 5, specifically 5-0 in the UFC. Looking at this fight, just who's headlining it, by God, this fight's going to be amazing. You have a berserker in Diego Lopes, an all-round finisher who can win with just about any moment of this fight, whether it be his venomous grappling game or his ferocious striking, backed up by power rarely seen in this division. But on the flip side, you have an enigma and just an absolute psychotic madman in Silva, who at times it looks like he's just playing around, having fun, high five and all that, and then he fucks you up. You just watch his 5 fights in the UFC, like what he did to Weston Wilson, Charles Jourdain, Drew Dober, Maxed Bagdasarian, and Bryce Mitchell. He is terrifying, with equally the same level of power, if not more, than Diego Lopes, which is it's just baffling how hard these two hit at featherweight. I mean, just the way they are able to just shock their opponents. Like, you see it on their opponents' faces. Like when Diego Lopes, like at that time, he lost his debut to Movsar Evloev on short notice, gave him one hell of a fight. Then he went on a 5-fight win streak, submitting Gavin Tucker, knocking out Pat Sabatini, knocking out Sadiq Youssef, and then winning a decision to Dan Ige, decision of Brian Ortega. Like, more specifically, look at the Sadiq Youssef fight. Sadiq Youssef's a really good fighter, and he survived some hard shots from like Edson Barbosa. But the moment Diego Lopes landed that uppercut to his chin in the clinch, you saw Sadiq Youssef's eyes roll back on his head. He had never been punched that hard in his life. I guarantee it. Or like, if you look at Silva, he fought like Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain had never been knocked out before. Let me slow down. Charles Jourdain has never been knocked out like that before. And Silva, with one well-placed uppercut, forced Jourdain's head to clink and hit the canvas as he was going down. These two hit with a different level of power that I can't wait for. Now, in terms of the striking, Silva is the better striker. He has not only a great feinting game where, like I said, he looks like he's taunting / having the time of his life. Either it was just high-fiving, having a good time, looking away from his opponent and either at the crowd or at his opponent's corner, or just overall just seeming like he does not take it seriously, then he just comes at you. He did it to Drew Dober. It seemed like he was pretty lackadaisical, fine, and then all of a sudden, spinning back elbow right into the face of Drew Dober. Or Bryce Mitchell, looking away from his corner, not paying attention, stuffing the takedown, and hitting him with some hard elbows, those Travis Brown style, or just rocking him with a 1-2. Or like Bagdasarian, and high five where open slap and all that, then moments later, 1-2 down the middle. His feinting and just overall seemingly unassuming confidence and just lack of interest gets so many opponents because you think he's just playing, and when in all actuality he's finding ways to hurt you. And someone pointed this out. It was Sure Dogs, and I've heard it too from like MMA Theory on Instagram. It's seemingly like Silva always finds what his opponents are good at and takes it away from them, kind of like what John Jones would do or Ilia Topuria or something like that. Where, like Drew Dober, he's a brawler at heart, iron chin, just comes at you. Silva met him with that same level of power, up a weight class on short notice, mind you, and just met him head on. Bagdasarian, a high-level kickboxer, finds openings. Silva found his opening. Bryce Mitchell, who, say what you want about him, is a really good grappler at the end of the day. Silva submitted him. So, like, he just, all in all, just Silva's striking game is so layered and so dangerous. While Lopes like I said, he hits with a level of power that is not commonly found at featherweight. I get like I said, Sidi Gusev looked like he'd never been hit like that in his life. He's hurt Dan Ige. He seemingly knocked out Brian Ortega with a right hand. He was about to fall. He hits him with the left hook and then wakes him back up. He made a man unconscious and then conscious in the span of like a second. Like I said, that power is different too. Punch for punch, it's hard to say who actually is the harder hitter of the two. I may lean towards Lopes because he has, just because he has like more, I would say, knockdowns than Silva, but still, it's very hard to. It's like neck and neck, if not one slightly above the other. If we're talking about overall punching power, but I would still say Lopes though has some deficiencies in striking. Mostly, he doesn't have a lot of variety to his striking arsenal. It's mostly a overhand right, left hook, and now he can throw it in combination, sure, but he doesn't throw like say a jab. He doesn't throw too many crosses. He doesn't really have varieties. Now in the clinch, he has a little more with uppercuts. At range, he has his good calf kicks, but like I said, it's not multi-layered in the way Silva is. Now, he also has some problems, I would say, like with overall cage cutting, as you saw in the Volkanovski fight, which was his latest fight. Volkanovski was able to essentially circle around and just play matador to Lopes's bull and just pick him apart with calf kicks and jabs, which was mostly it. But even still, though, Volkanovski had to be perfect for 25 minutes. And you saw in the fight, he couldn't be. He got rocked and dropped badly in the fourth, or at least hurt badly in the fourth, and dropped in the second. It shows that one wrong mistake with Lopes, and you're going to hit the canvas. Now, in terms of grappling, Lopes is the vastly more dangerous, I would say more dangerous grappler overall, at least certainly the more experienced grappler overall than Silva. Now, Silva has shown that he can fight off his back pretty well, and he has good chokes himself. As I said, submitted Bryce Mitchell with a ninja choke. And overall, even if he gets taken down, he's really good at getting right back up. And he's pretty good. I would say his single leg takedown defense is his best in terms of when his opponent's trying to shoot on him, as he's not only short and stocky enough to like be able to have a low center of gravity, but he also has enough power to like where he keeps his left hand usually on his opponent's neck to like keep him from moving or trying to change to hit the hip, and then once he's able to reap the leg out, just hits with that uppercut. He seems to favor that a lot in terms of when opponents try and shoot on him. He seems to favor that a lot, that uppercut. Now, there's another aspect of this fight that's really been intriguing, and especially over this last week. As you saw last week in Paris, the Fighting Nerds took a big hit to their reputation as Rufi got exposed and Kyle Bahalio lost. Competitive fight, but still lost to Imavov. And now Silva is the only one of the Fighting Nerds who is left undefeated in the UFC. And there certainly would be a weight on his shoulders with that, now being the best representative of that gym. While Lopes has to show that he truly belongs at the elite of featherweight, and that, the Volkanovski thing was just an off night for him. No, granted, I don't take too much stock in losing to Volk, because I think Volk's the best featherweight ever. But it's the way he lost where, at times, it just looked like he wasn't ready to take on the maestro that is Volkanovski. Now, certainly, Volkanovski and Lopes don't fight similar, and they have different levels of fight IQ, I would still say. But there's certainly another level of not just intensity, but overall stakes in this fight besides getting a win. Because you'd think if Lopes can get a win, he's not in the title picture, not yet, not while Volka's champion, but he can start marching back to it. But if Silva wins, imagine if he gets a finish too, he's right in there with a title shot with Evloev and Murphy and those guys. Man, it's so tough to think, because I don't like the odds, if I'm being honest. Lopes has been a plus 200 to plus 230, 225 in some odds, while Silva's plus 250, plus 285, and stuff like that. He's a high favorite to win. Now, I am picking him to win. I think overall, Lopes doesn't have great striking defense, and he is there to be hit at times. It's just he has a granite chin. He took some bad shots from Dan Ige in a fight where most of it was constant weight change fucking him up from 45 to 55 to literally 2 hours later before his fight he had to change to 165. So a lot of this stuff was really fucking him up. So I don't really take the struggle he had with Danny Ige into stock too much. But there are probably issues he has. He has cardio issues, as it's shown that he slows down by the third round. And in the 5-round fight he had with Volkanovski, past the third round, he definitely slowed down significantly. He's much better in the first 2 rounds where he can go all gas, no brakes. That certainly fits his style. In comparison to Silva, it seems to be a slow starter, where usually at that point he gets his reads, he gets his timing, and starts landing the kill shots. Now, granted, against Baghdasaryan and Weston Wilson, you dust him off in the first round. But in comparison to those two, when you look at Lopes, that's a different story and a different beast in the first round in comparison to those two. So, though, I think Lopes has too many striking deficiencies, mostly in his ability to cut the cage, his overall defensive lapse in judgment, and the fact that I think he relies a little too much on his chin. So, with that being said, I am going to pick João Silva, and I think he's going to get the finish. I just don't see Lopes surviving five rounds or 25 minutes with Silva, considering the kind of power Silva possesses. And overall, I just think he's going to land that kill shot one too many times on the chin of Lopes. So, I am going to stay faithful to the fighting nerds, and I am picking João Silva to win by knockout. Now, with that being said, I have been Bo from Brutal Commentary. If you liked the video, comment and subscribe. Let me know what your overall thoughts on this fight. Do you think this is one of the best fights of 2025? Or what are your expectations for this fight? I'd love to hear it. Next up, I have a special video coming about where I'm going to be breaking down Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, which is also this Saturday. Hey, but with that being said, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. Take care.